Philippines. Written by Jesuits and their lay partners, The Wind Hover features real stories about the Jesuits and their various ministries. Be inspired. Be blessed. Subscribe to The Wind Hover. For inquiries, call the Philippine Jesuit Aid Association at telephone numbers 426-6001, locals 4890 or 4892. Once again, Philippine Jesuit Aid Association, telephone numbers 426-6001, locals 4890 or 4892.
Kaibigan, alam mo na ba kung anong dapat gawin upang iwasan at sugpuin ang COVID-19? Iwasang hawakan ang bibig, mata at ilong. Laging maghugas ng kamay gamit ang sabon at tubig sa loob ng 20 segundo. Linisin ang mga bagay na palaging hinahawakan. Kumain ng balanse at masusustansyang pagkain. Matulog ng sapat, huwag magpupuyat. Stay home. Sa wastong pag-iingat, ang virus hindi kakalat. COVID-19, kayang-kaya nating tapusin.
We are now on YouTube. Watch all of our live episodes plus exclusive content in our channel at radyo-katipunan FM. Don't forget to click subscribe and hit the bell to get the latest updates. Radyo-Katipunan. News, insights, inspiration. Radyo-Katipunan. Down from the hill and down to the world. Radyo-Katipunan. The voice of the Blue Eagle.
Jescom Music Ministry, your daily dose of inspiration. Follow jescom.ph on Spotify and Jescom Music on YouTube. We are also on iTunes and Deezer.
Palalimin ang kamalayan sa mga isyong napapanahon. Makisangkot at makiisa kasama ang simbahang lingkod ng bayan. Ang Socio-Political Apostolate ng Kapisanan ni Jesus. Ito ang Kwentuhang Bayan mula alas 11 ng umaga tuwing Biyernes dito lang sa Radyo-Katipunan 87.9 FM. Dahil naniniwala kami na posible ang isang mas mabuting lipunan at maaari itong simulan sa isang kwentuhan.
Get your daily dose of inspiration through our music. Follow Jescom.ph on Spotify and Jescom Music in YouTube.
Radyo-Katipunan 87.9 FM.
The fire we reported at the old fire hall is still burning out.
Do you sometimes feel confused or lost in the complications and complexities of life? Do you feel drained, listless, or exhausted from the daily burdens and responsibilities? Why not seek our campus ministers on air every Tuesday from 2 to 3 in the afternoon? Listen to our counselors from the Loyola School's Campus Ministry Office as they ground our lives in our faith, in our school's spiritual tradition. Campus Ministers on Air. Be guided, be inspired, be blessed. Listen to our Campus Ministers on Air. Radyo-Katipunan 87.9 FM. We are now on YouTube. Watch all of our live episodes plus exclusive content in our channel at radyo-katipunan FM. Don't forget to click subscribe and hit the bell to get the latest updates.
Jesuit Music Ministry, your daily dose of inspiration. Follow jescom.ph on Spotify and Jescom Music on YouTube. We are also on iTunes and Deezer.
Radyo Katipunan. News, insights, inspiration. Radyo Katipunan. Down from the hill and down to the world. Radyo Katipunan. The voice of the Blue Eagle.
Radyo, 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 katipunan. Radyo, katipunan. Radyo, katipunan. Radyo, 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 katipunan. Radyo, katipunan. Voice of the Blue Eagle, kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay atin sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng eskwela. Radyo, 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 katipunan. Radyo, 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 katipunan. Radyo, katipunan. Radyo, katipunan. Kawal ni Ignacio, katipunero sugo. Todo sa kayod, tunong at tulong. Lipad na Blue Eagle, galing giting at tigil.
Magandang tanghali, narito muli tayo para sa isang oras ng talakayan ng panitikan at kulturang Pilipino. Ako po si Gary Villes.
Rejoice, refresh, renew, and reflect. Join us for an hour of music that uplifts the soul. Listen to your favorite Jesuit music ministry artists. This is JMM Radio. JMM Radio. Get your day's dose of inspirational music. Tune in to JMM Radio every Wednesday from 1 to 2 p.m. Only here on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.
Our view as we lay in rubble, vainly stumble toward you. Our faith has shaken, world now broken, torn in strife, until your light touches, changes life through Jesus Christ. Faithful, how we
All right, and we are live, coming in to you from our homes. Ito po ang inyong paboritong JMM Radio, the radio program of the Jesuit Music Ministry. Of course, today is the 28th of July, 2021. It's another Wednesday evening with us. At imagine, it's already we're on the last week of July, no? Ayun, and after this, August na, and the next thing you know, it's already the Burr months. Ayan, so magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Ako po si Justin Pontino at ako'y solo flight dahil ang ating pong kasamang si Lester Mendiola ay pansamantalang busy pa siya. But of course, I'm never alone. I'll be never alone in this show. Ay may makakasama po tayo syempre yung mga co-hosts. Unahin na natin dyan, of course, ang lagi nating ever damay-damay. Dito po sa radyo-katipunan, of course, the host of Mind Ed, ang ating kapatid na si Bian Orenciana. Hi, B!
Hey Justin, this is B of Minded. I am still a letter in this show.
Yes.
Nakikigulo na naman po mula sa Minded. Ako'y tumatawid programa tuwing Miyerkules para makasama po dito sa JMM Radio. And of course, thank you for extending the invitation again.
Yes.
Sana hindi kayo magsawa. Ako nag-invite.
You know naman that you're always a friend of the ministry, kaya lagi ka namin
Of course.
kasama dito, diba?
Yes, it also is my ministry rin kasi. So,
correct.
that's why we're here.
Yes, exactly. And we're also joined by our one of our producers, of course, andyan si Judith Esquivias. Hello, Judith. Are you with us?
Yes, I'm here, Kuya. Good evening, everybody.
Siyempre, sabi ko nga magparamdam. Pagalawin mo ang baso, Judith. And and we have some special guests tonight kasi medyo close to them ang topic natin ngayong gabi, no? Pero pakilala natin sila isa-isa, and of course, let's allow them to also introduce themselves, no? They're actually our radyo-katipunan interns. Ayan, I think this is the first time you'll be meeting them at least in Zoom man lang. Of course, let's all welcome, let's all give a big round of applause for our intern, si Alessa. Ayan. Si Alessa Cialzita and Teo Ricaforte. Hello, good evening, Teo and Alessa.
Good evening. Wow.
Yeah,
crazy. We've made it. The joke.
You made it, yeah, I know.
We're here.
Yeah.
Finally. The joke lang. No, but
yeah. How's
Bakit kasi ngayon niya lang sila sinama sa show, guys?
Sorry naman na po.
Sorry naman. Yeah, of course, they're undergoing their internship eh. Tapos, yun nga, di ba, by phase. May phases yan. So, this week and the next, they will be, of course, part of the production. So, kaya ito na yung ito na yung simula nila, no? That they'll be joining some of our programs. So, you'll be seeing them for the next couple of days. So, yan. So, hindi lang sa JMM Radio yung sila makikita. Oh, 'di ba? Oh, 'di ba ang gaganda at ang popogi. So, aasahan natin yung mga pagmumukha nila sa mga susunod na araw.
Wow. Diba? Parang we're gonna be in different shows. Parang mga hermits. No? Like, yes, I'm creeping up.
You'll never know. Baka mamaya you're already building your fan base. Diba?
Okay, because of that, we're gonna change angle for tomorrow's episode. Patrick, I hope you're watching.
You know the drill, guys. Ayan. Anyway, so we'll have them tonight because meron po tayong yun na nga, sabi ko nga, may pag-uusapan tayo na very close to their hearts kasi nga, sila talaga yung topic natin.
Yes.
Much, no? But anyway, let's just go back to, of course, our song earlier. We opened up our show with the song Now We Stand, of course, performed by Simply for Him. It's part of our One Praise album. And that's a composition, words and music by Chris Maria Baltazar. Ayan. So narinig niyo naman, no, it's very hip, very youthful and very Gundamish. Gundamish.
Gundamish.
This is not at all sponsored by any toy
It's very,
manufacturer.
mali pala yung Gundamish, anthemish, di ba? Medyo may
Ganun siya.
pagka-anthem ang dating.
No, but what we'd like to highlight here, Justin, is that the Simply for Him is actually a family band.
Yeah.
So parang we really advocate nga kasi nga since they're part of One Praise, and One Praise is like a community or a gathering of yun nga yung mga Catholic charismatic faithful natin. Sila yun talagang parang we got in touch with our guest tonight. So that to be able to become part of One Praise. So parang sabi ko nga sila yung One Praise International.
Correct.
Service. The other side of the world sa US. And what's amazing about the band is that sobrang active din ng kids in terms of yun nga, performing, giving praise, and it's just really a joy always to see them like perform and give worship. Kaya parang di ba sobrang engaging ng kanta.
Oh, and I learned
na
mababata pa pala ng mga ng mga kids nila, 'di ba?
Yes.
But they are already still involved in the ministry. So kaya grabe, kudos to these guys and
to Chris and Chris also the parents.
Especially the parents sila Chris. Ayan, and it's just amazing to hear such talent, no. Now, in case, of course, you'd like to check them out, you can visit their website at www.simplyforhim.com. That's simply, and then the number 4, and then him.com. Ayan. Okay. Alam mo, may sabi nga nila, as I was listening to the song, may dalawa akong natutunan dito dun sa song. And actually, the family, na kumanta. Na una, yung pag-nurture ng pananampalataya natin, it always begins in the family talaga.
Yes.
And it's a good starting point in your journey to your faith. Magandang mag-start talaga from the young, nagsimula yung faith experience. Siguro yun. And then,
ikaw ba, Justin, when you were young, were you, were your parents, did they really push you to become involved in ministry or sa church? Alam ko, like, or we all are like, fond of, our service in the church. Pero ikaw ba, like, how young din? Naalala mo pa ba? Nung una kang nagsilbi?
Sa katagalan siguro medyo nakalimutan ko na. So I think it's best that we ask our two interns.
Yung mga kaya pa
medyo mas kaya pa nila kasi
fresh pa yung memory.
Yes. Si Judith din, please paki-answer.
So ito na naman ako sa age reveal, di ba?
Bakit ka gano'n? Ayoko na nga mag-guess.
With Ate B katulad na sinabi ko sa inyo kanina, with Ate B, lagi merong merong age reveal na nangyayari.
Oh my gosh. I don't know.
Anyway, Judith, sige, simulan natin kay Judith. Judith, ikaw, alam ko you're very active in the ministry. Paano nag-start yung iyong journey?
And what anong eksakto yung ministry na yun? Anong ginagawa mo?
Okay. Sige. Kasi ang dami kong ministry, guys. So hindi ko alam paano simulan.
In 5 sentences or less.
Well, everything started with my parents. So they're my best example of being active in the church. Tapos syempre, yun, when we were in abroad, nag-ano na rin kami sa ministry namin. Nag-start ako sa youth. So ako yung bata sa background, yung titingin-tingin lang, dadasal-dasal lang. Tapos mamaya, hindi ko na alam, ako na yung youth head. Di ba? Hanggang sa nakauwi na ako ng Pilipinas dito, di ba? Nakauwi na ako dito. Still the same. Sa background lang ako, tapos mamaya, ayun na rin ako. Ako na rin isa sa mga head. So parang yun yung starting ko talaga with my parents. Kasi parang bedtime stories namin is about the gospel. So parang talagang hinihimay ni daddy sa amin yung gospel every night. So that we really can understand what the message of the Lord is. So they're my best example. Talaga ito yung sasabi ni Kuya, it started in the home talaga with the family. Right. Yun. So dahil dyan, ipapasok kay Alisa.
Isang bagsak para kay Judith.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, Alisa, game.
How about you, Alisa?
Yes, about
are you part of any church ministry, or at least of course you go to church, no? Parang how did your family brought you up to become, the Catholic or the Christian that you are now?
Right. Well, actually, my dad's pretty religious, so since birth, we were already brought up to be also quite religious, very knowledgeable on our religion. So yeah, although I'm not part of any church ministry at the moment, I do remember during my high school days, I joined FCCY. I don't know, I forgot what the acronym stood for, but it was also a church group for high school students near the parish Mary the Queen. So that was one way I served during my high school days. But at the moment, I am not active in any church ministries, but I am still practicing my religion, going to online masses because we can't go to physical masses at the moment. So yes, there are other ways that I practice my religion.
All right. All right. How about Teo naman? Si Teo.
I mean, same thing then. My parents are both religious. So it's very brought up nga on that that Catholic faith and yung mga traditions and like whenever we'd have like a long road trip, it would be rosary muna before we and all those kinds of things. But like I never really knew how to manifest my faith other than prayer. So for me it was feeling parang yung prayer was like, yeah, sure, okay, it's there. But like I wanted something that was more, that I felt like more, I guess, me. And then it came to the point na I was around, I guess, 15, 16, I think, around that time, na we had just started attending a different church. Tapos we were going there more kasi may aircon. And then at one point, my mom thought na, Teo, you should join choir. I mean, you're a singer. You should join choir. Ako, first response ko was, no. Pero
wow, talagang no.
No. Parang ayoko, diba? I want the Saturdays and Sundays to be rest days. Pero yun nga, di naman sa brute force, pero parang ganun. No, I'm just kidding. Like I was pushing out to join choir. And so I did. And I came to enjoy it, honestly. Kasi that's when I started to find then a newfound appreciation then for the music that I was singing. Because it wasn't just, I'm just singing it for the sake of lang, because it's part of the mass. Kasi sa church namin, by the way, shout out pala, Madonna del Divino Amore. Miss you guys. Yun nga, pag pumipili kami ng mga songs, kailangan kasi in tune siya with with what we're talking about sa mass or yung theme ng mass. So I started to appreciate more yung mga kinakanta namin. And so now that's how I kind of had a greater appreciation for not just my faith but also for Catholic music, especially Jesuit music. Like wait lang kasi like enjoy ko talaga. Take and Receive. Yung cover, yung rendition ni Sir Cholo Malilin, that's naka-save yan sa phone ko. So yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Tega, 100 ka na daw sa radyo-katipunan internship mo.
Lester, please take
Let it
note.
be known. Yes, okay.
Kindly
This is
take note.
Perfect score.
It's wonderful to hear like the stories of our youth.
I know.
Sila.
How they actually first began, getting involved, knowing their faith, and of course starting off their journey into, of course their path to kumbaga redemption, enlightenment, diba?
Yes.
And,
so Justin, bakit ba natin pinag-uusapan at ba't ba natin tinatanong ang kabataan natin ng kanilang ministry?
Oo nga. Actually
explain.
Kasi nga we are diba, ngayon ay nasa towards the last part na tayo ng July.
Ng
and as
Iggy
you
months,
always
yes.
know, we are still of course celebrating the month of our patron Ignatius of Loyola, and of course mapalapit ng ang kanyang feast day this coming July 31. And actually today our topic is more of that, dahil the Society of Jesus, the of course the congregation that he founded, has actually released, of course, this what we call the Universal Apostolic Preferences, no? Sa mga hindi po
Of the Society of
nakakaalam,
Jesus, yeah.
yes, correct. Sa mga hindi nakakaalam, this is actually it's their guiding, kumbaga, the guiding goals for the next I think 4 or 5 years that for the society,
Yeah.
no?
And then
Ito
there are
ang
4
mag-guide ng mga
major
missions.
goals, right?
Correct. These are mission goals, no? They're actually 4D, I think, no?
Yes. Yeah, one
there's,
is of course spiritual exercises and discernment,
Right.
and then the second one is like our mission to the peripheries.
Yes.
And then
walking
the
with
third
poor.
one, yes, of course. And then the third one is guiding the youth or walking with the youth. And then the fourth one is care for the environment.
Right.
Yeah.
At sinabi ko na nga, no, na malapit sa mga kabataan natin ang topic natin because of course we're going to talk about the third universal apostolic preference, which is journeying with the youth. At tamang-tama nga yung opening song natin. Nakita natin yung glimpse, no, ng anong mga kayang gawin ng mga kabataan, no. Na yun na nga, isang example na ang Baltazar family. At ang ating guest ngayong gabi, ang isa sa mga testament natin dyan. Sa patunay na talagang sa kabataan nagsisimula ang ating kumbaga ang ating pag-asa at renewed faith, no? Sa ating simbahan. Of course, pakilala na natin ang ating panauhin ngayong gabi at alam kong excited na rin ang marami na makilala at marinig siya ngayong gabi. Of course, siya po ang former director ng Jesuit Music Ministry. Ayan, so we are still, of course, featuring our former...
Nasa series pa din tayo.
Nandun pa rin tayo sa series.
Pagbabalik tanaw.
Correct. Sa mga hindi
ating mga director
nakakaalam.
before.
Isa rin po siya sa mga director natin ng JMM before, no? Actually, siya yung sinundan ni Lester, no? Bago siyang naging director. And right now, he's currently the head of the campus ministry of the Ateneo de Manila Junior High School. Of course, mga kaibigan, walang iba kundi ang ating mga kasama ngayong gabi, si Father Roseller Atilano, SJ. Good evening, Father Ro.
Hi, good evening. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Father Ro. Welcome back to JMM.
Welcome back to JMM
Pero
Radio.
parang never naman nawala si Father Ro kasi lagi naman natin siyang naririnig sa ating mga konsyerto.
I know.
So,
ay, alam mo ba na... Yes, go ahead, Father. Father, bati ka muna. Baka may mga fans ka na nanonood.
Yes,
sa comments.
Good evening sa lahat ng mga nakikinig, nanonood ngayong gabi, at sa lahat ng mga naglilingkod sa simbahan, at lahat ng mga estudyante ng Ateneo na nakikinig ngayon, mga teachers. Good evening, everyone.
Ayun, ayan. So, like what I said earlier, si Father Ro ang isa sa mga previous directors ng JMM. So, mamayang konti, no, isisahin din natin yung kanyang role before as the JMM director. And paano rin niya na-involve ang kabataan, no, at ang kanyang ministry, no? Kasi talagang ang ni Father, parang ang naging orientation na ng kanyang ministry is really on the youth.
Ay, nako. Teka, balik tayo sa JMM. Naalala ko kasi na si Father Ro ang JMM director. Ang kaagaw namin ni Kuya Ray sa airtime ni Father Ro ay ang mga kabataan. Kaagaw sa airtime talaga. Oo, di na ba? Pero alam mo yun, parang it's really, kumbaga parang, how do I say it? I really admire like how Father Ro guides these. Kasi parang dun, yung office ni Father Ro, sa inner office ng JMM nun, pagkasarado, tas bukas yung ilaw, alam na namin ni SD. Alam na namin. Tapos pagkabosan na, ayan namin, either may mga batang umiiyak.
Oo.
O kaya papasok si Father Ro, parang may mga kasama, mga kabataan. And makikita mo talaga how he appeals to the youth and how the youth responds to him din. So parang there's this kind of gift na led by the Spirit. Hindi ko kayo binobola, Father. Totoo yun.
Pero tayo dyan, B, no, dahil nabanggit mo na rin lang, no, na ganun, na malapit talaga si Father sa mga kabataan. Let's take a step back and look into Father Ross, kumbaga, Father, ano po ba yung kahit maikli lang po, no, yung inyong vocation story, how did you become a Jesuit, or why did you choose the Jesuits or over other congregations? And if you can relate this to your ano din, yung paano kayo napapalapit talaga sa mga kabataan? Although I know that you are still a young priest, di ba?
Okay, maraming salamat, Justin. Uh, I I think it began when I was in grade 6. I started serving at the altar as a sacristan or altar server at the Dominican Sisters Convent in Zamboanga City. And that was my first engagement or a church service. But my family was not very religious at that time. But I was just parang attracted to serving the church. So I was serving at the Dominican Sisters Convent every Sunday at 6:30 a.m. I would walk from our house going to the church, to the convent to serve. And malapit lang, siguro mga half kilometer lang yung distance. And then after 4 years, medyo tumangkad na ako ng konti sa lagay na yan, tumangkad na ako. At medyo hindi nakasya sa akin yung sutana ko at hindi nagpatayo ng mga madre ng bago. So I joined the choir ng Dominican Youth Choir at that time. And then, so doon naging parang active ako sa choir ng mga madre. And then, when I was in college, I joined Youth for Christ. I joined this charismatic movement. At that time, it was really a kind of a revolution. There were so many of us. Every parish, there was parang a youth camp. And I was one of those who started in our area. So I became the leader of the area of Zamboanga City. And then at the same time, I was also active in the university. When I was in college, I was actively involved in social apostolates, and because of that, I was exposed to the youth ministry, and I fell in love with the youth ministry. So I became a youth leader throughout my college days. I was also a student leader way back in college. Hindi ko nga maisip kung paano ko na-balance lahat yun. Parang going back now, I don't think I can do it again. I was everywhere. I was so busy at the time. And I have so many involvements. And yet looking back, I have a lot of beautiful memories. And going back to the question of Justin regarding vocation, if you ask me, was I thinking already of becoming a priest at that time? Hindi. The answer was no. But there was an attraction just to serve the church and to be with the young people. But it's like falling in love. And at such time, I discovered, iba na. Parang hindi lang service ang gusto ko. Hindi lang parang gusto ko na talagang, I fell in love with the Eucharist. At one point, I remember I was crying in the Mass because when I imagined myself at the altar and saying the Mass, I started crying and I said, this is what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. But again, I did not pursue priesthood right away. I had to finish my college. So I had to take the board. And then I worked for some few years. I worked at SGV for a while. And then I wasn't happy there. So after that, I worked with the government and for a special World Bank project as a certified public accountant. But I was also active in still in the youth ministry. I was serving in different Catholic renewal groups. So I should say my vocation was cradled, nourished through my youth ministry. So para bagang it was through them, through these ministries that I had with the young people, that I wanted to do more, And I'm very grateful for all those years of my exposure and experiences with the young people. And until now, I'm still in love with the ministry.
Galing. So kita mo talaga yung journey. Talagang it was, I think, led rin po with your youthful spirit. I think. Kasi parang hindi ka na naalis na sa from being part of the kabataan to being involved.
Correct.
Sa mga
Naano lang ako
proyekto
doon sa
para sa
sinabi ni
kabataan.
Father. Naalala ko yung sasabi ni Father yung he was like everywhere. Parang ganun ang karamihan sa
Father,
mga
parang
kabataan.
hanggang ngayon ata, you're everywhere also. Ang dami mo rin involvement ngayon. Pero
Oo.
grabe.
Pero parang ganun nga,
Yeah.
no? Di ba ang mga kabataan ganun na talagang because of their fervor, no? Yung kanilang passion, talagang they wanted to do more. There's this spark talaga na to really do more, to help more, to be more, di ba? Ayun. Tulad nga ng ating di ba, ng ating Magis, di ba? Yan.
Very Magis.
Very Magis. Ayan, Father. Tapos, syempre yun nga, nalaman natin yung vocation story. Paano naman kayo napadpad sa Jesuit Music Ministry? Bago natin pag-usapan lahat ng, ng pag-uusapan natin ngayon.
Alam nyo, before sharing to you yung JMM experiences ko, I realized two effective ways to bring the youth to get the attention of the young people, which I still do, by the way. And very effective. I don't know if Teo and Alessa will agree with me. Dalawa, music and food. Alam nyo, if you go to my office before the pandemic, here at the Ateneo Junior High School at the campus ministry office, if you visit my office, on the table, there's like a round table in the middle. Puno ng pagkain yan. That's the way I get to make students get inside my room. So nandyan, whatever is there on the table, it's free. They can get anytime during recess, during lunchtime. Punong-puno yan. So first come, first serve. Second, in my office, you can find my guitar there. There's a violin there. There's a flute. There's even a cello. There's a ukulele. These instruments are just there for students to play during recess and during lunchtime. And of course, I sing with them. I play with them. I eat with them. And they're amazed that I get to sing their songs. I have to learn these new songs, kasi when they discover that I can sing their songs, nakakonect ka na sa kanila. At nagugulat sila na there's a priest who can sing their songs and play together with them. That's why that was my I learned that style, that technique of bringing people closer to the faith using food and music because of my ministries in the past. And of course, as Justin and Bia know that I'm also one of the things that really attracted me to the Society of Jesus is the JMM. No, I remember when I was in college, nakakatawan, I was in college, as I was playing already, during the mass, I was playing the guitar. I had a complete cassette tape collection of Bukas Palad, Hinigaswita, Vespers, Lods, and Hangad. Kompleto ako niyan, cassette tape yan. Nag-iipon ako ng pera para pupunta sa campus ministry ng Ateneo de Zamboanga to buy the cassette tapes. And I never thought at the time that eventually I would become the director of that ministry. So I was a fan, so to speak, of Manuling, of all these Jesuit artists, only later on to realize, to become their manager, so to speak. But so that was really my journey with JMM. I was a fan at the beginning. I would collect all the cassette tapes. Tapos naging CD na yan eventually. I had to let go my cassette tapes. Hindi na siguro alam ni na Alessa at saka ni Teo yung cassette tapes, no? But so I also try. I use music to pray. I love I love hill songs also at the same time mga praise songs because we use them during praise and worship, and then I play during the mass pag Sunday. So when I was I joined the Jesuits, I was able to develop my inclination to music, and at that time I also started to write songs, and that's why after my regency in Cebu, when I came back to study theology, my superiors asked me to be the director of JMM, and I was like so surprised and so happy. In fact, I can only remember good things about my JMM ministry.
Ayun.
Yes.
O talagang from fanboy to the director.
Dream job talaga.
JMM talaga. Oh, Teo, alam mo na.
Yes,
Alam mo,
music and
Leo,
food.
Music and
Oo.
food, Vieta.
Nung sinabi ni Father na music, yeah. Tapos sabi niya food, yes na yes!
Oo,
Exactly.
grabe sila ni Alessa,
I
talagang
agree.
grabe, oh.
Totoo,
Yes,
diba,
talaga.
Alex?
Oo, yung
I agree.
nag-bog,
Oo,
nag-ano, talagang
tsaka alam mo yung ngiti talaga na parang,
all in, in
correct,
affirmation talaga.
Kaya
Na
guys,
yes,
lahat
hold
tayo.
on talaga.
Kaya guys, let's all
Oo.
get
Music.
vaccinated para the pandemic ends, para makapunta tayo sa
sa office si Father Rob, pakakainin niya tayo.
Para pakinggan tayo ni Kuya Lester.
Oo,
Segue
na yun.
Jokes only, pero yes, of course.
Segue yun. Anyway, let's go to some of the questions of of course, our mga kasama nating mga kabataan. Siguro, let's start with Judith. Judith, maybe you have your questions now for Father.
Hi, Judith.
Yes. Hello po, Father. Ano po, Father, yung Universal Apostolic Preference ng Society of Jesus? And what is the Universal Apostolic Preference for the youth?
All right.
Sakto, Father. We're going to that part na nga rin pala. No? Sige,
Yeah.
Father, go ahead.
Before the pandemic, the general, the head of the Jesuits in the world, convened all the leaders of the Society of Jesus and decided to focus on items to give preference. Kasi you see, the harvest is great but the laborers are few. Sobrang daming need ang mundo. This is before the pandemic. Sobrang daming need at konti lang tayo. So pero importante, we can focus on things that are more important, more relevant, and where there are less people giving their time and resources. So that's why the result of that meeting is the four apostolic preferences. Preferences kasi we need to focus on these four. Yes, there are many other needs. Possibly there are other congregations providing the needs, the providing services for these needs, and we need to kumbaga focus so that there's depth. Importante kasi isa sa mga lagi ko naririnig in the past 3 years, lalim. Kailangan may lalim kasi hindi pwedeng kalat. Kailangan may lalim kahit konti pero malalim. No, ang sinasabi nating non multa sed multum, that's a Jesuit Ignatian Latin phrase, no? Hindi yan Harry Potter spell. Non multa sed multum, not many but much. Para may lalim. Even relationships, konti lang yung friends mo pero may malalim, ayos na. So, hindi marami pero walang lalim. Ganun ang punto ng four apostolic preferences. And one, you mentioned the four already earlier, and one of the four is journeying with the youth. And sakto rin kasi nung 2019 was the year of the youth, and Pope Francis issued an apostolic exhortation on the youth called Christus Vivit. So doon, it's a beautiful document, it's a short document on the youth, and Pope Francis wrote a beautiful exhortation and saying that we as a church, we have to take care of the youth, we have to journey with them, we have to be a listening church. He started by saying that the youth of this generation is in trouble. Sabi niya, ang dami niyang example, sabi niya, the young people these days are faced with so many challenges. Andyan yung social media, andyan yung so many images, no, voices, and unlike before na talagang mas may lalim. Ngayon parang there are so many challenges that the young people nowadays face compared to young people many generations ago. And so that's why Pope Francis wanted us to pay attention to their needs. And he ended the document by saying we should be a listening church because this is what the young people need at this point, to listen with them. Kasi young people these days, they feel na parang they are, separated from, parang there's an abyss between the young people and the old ones. So Pope Francis is trying to bridge the gap. And the general, together with, of course, the leaders of the Society of Jesus, decided to have one of the four apostolic preferences, journeying with the youth. And then this year, the provincial of the Philippine Jesuits also came up with 5, similar to the 4 apostolic preferences. We call that the 5 thrust. So the 5 thrust included, or this one, journeying with the youth, summoning the youth for engaged citizenship. So andun pa rin yung we need to pay attention to the needs of the young people.
Mhm. I remember Father reading that exhortation, and then yun yung favorite part ko actually. It's listen to the youth and let them be involved in the church, and this is a really good response of the Society of Jesus to alam mo yun, isama siya as part of like the universal ano tawag dito, apostolic
Preferences.
apostolic preference. Parang we are listening to the youth, and yes, we are parang involving them, kumbaga parang may tawag ng ano tawag dito, to have them involved but then guided. And
yes,
yun parang yun yung ginagawa. So beautiful, Father, thanks for sharing.
Yun. How about Alessa? Alessa, maybe you have a question for Father?
Hi, Alessa.
Hello, yes, I do. But first of all, that was also beautifully said. I really appreciate it. I mean, coming from someone who grew up in a religious family and seeing how maybe we can find other ways for other people to get involved in the church as well. Like, I really appreciate the effort that's put into connecting the church with the youth. So, with that being said, so how did the universal preference for the youth come about? Like, is there a main message, or like what are the goals and aims and purpose of this universal preference for the youth?
Yes. So since we came up with 4 apostolic preferences, we need to channel our resources, our limited resources, our energy, our limited people, also at the same time, manpower, to these 4 apostolic preferences. Again, for depth, para may lalim. And there's also this sense of urgency kasi, no? For example, itong journeying with the youth, no? There's a sense of urgency kasi there are so many challenges that they are facing these days. Ngayon, example ngayon, yung mental health issues, sobrang dami.
Right.
We need to pay attention, and we need to articulate this. And we need to, for example, here in our school, given the 4 apostolic preferences, what do? We realign our programs in such a way that it is reoriented. So parang the 4 apostolic preferences, these are directions or orientations. So para meron tayong parang common like direction, and it's really something good. And that is why, as I said, we need to have focus. That's why we need to have preferences.
Yun. Oh, yun. So, yeah. Who else? Maybe Teo also has a question. Or is that okay na? Okay na ba sa'yo, Alessa?
Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Hi, Father. So, you did mention earlier that you have done work for youth ministries, yung music and food. But then I just want to ask then, what else are you doing in the actualization of the universal preference for the youth? Like, what are the like projects, activities, or programs that are being done or have been done in light of this preference?
You see, it's very challenging, Theo, when we came up with the 4 apostolic preferences, it was before the pandemic. So there were programs already, we had meetings.
So everything was in place. Everything was...
Yeah, we were excited for a youth festival. We were excited with, collaborating with different youth ministries. But the pandemic happened. So it has changed everything. And even the platform, since we don't have face-to-face on-site activities, so we need to create virtual or online activities. And it's not easy because this is something new, It's like, it's not just crossing the bridge when you get there. It's actually building the bridge as you cross the bridge. We I have to admit, it's not easy. And we encounter new issues like mental health issues, like domestic family and domestic violence even. We have these issues and the number of suicide cases, these things that are there and we need to address. And in as much as we had a program before the pandemic, we could not implement them anymore. You have to think outside the box. You have to think differently. You cannot force na, okay, magkakaroon tayo ng festival ulit. Eh, hindi nga pwede, no? And there are new issues already. But so how do we go about this now? So we have to think online. We have to think online. We have to learn with the youth. Anong gusto nilang gawin? So, importante kasi, isa sa mga natutunan ko sa kabataan, ayaw nila yung ini-impose yung activities on them. They wanted, they are part of the decision making, of brainstorming. You know, one of the things I realized when I was before the pandemic, when I was new with campus ministry work, I realized, when I was talking with some people, young people, and look at their works, nagugulat ako, sobrang galing nila sa graphics, sobrang galing nila sa mga song compositions, sobrang galing ng kabataan. And if you only tap these talents and let them give them the platform, give them the venue for them to be able to share their talents, gustong-gusto nila yon. Gustong-gusto nila yon na they get involved and you get to give them the chance. So how do we now translate that given the pandemic? So ganun din, importante na we have to ask them, anong gusto nilang gawin and ano yung magiging participation nila. So this year sakto din kasi this year is Ignatian, the 500 years of the conversion of Saint Ignatius. So we have already, I met with all the youth, the leaders of the high school students, at least from different Ateneo schools in the Philippines, to talk about how do we celebrate the 500 years this year given the online setup. And they're very excited. They have so many ideas, nakakatuwa. So it's an ongoing and it's a work in progress project. Another thing that we need to focus, I believe, is regarding the upcoming elections. We need to have our young people be part of this. Kaya nga, ang sabi nga sa aming 5 thrust, summoning the youth to engage citizenship. They have to be part of the nation in terms of making decisions. Some of this, a big portion of our young people are already voters. So we need to teach them to be part of the nation, to be engaged, na hindi lang parang outsiders or passive citizenship. It should be engaged citizenship. So we need to partner with them, especially for the upcoming election. So these are the things that we're doing and we want to do during this time of the pandemic.
Thank you very much, Father. Yeah, that was very yeah. I think it that when you said like the youth doesn't want doesn't like it when the activities are imposed on them. Yeah, I felt that. Yeah, I've had some cases with that. But yes, when you said that they do want to be involved, that is true. We do want to participate in these activities, but at the same time we don't want to feel like we are being restricted. Then so yeah, thank you, Father, for acknowledging that I guess truth about us. Yeah.
I just one story.
Father,
to reiterate the sharing of Teo. There was a time there was a parent who asked me about why her son was more open to me but not more open to them.
Mm-hmm.
So I sabi ko, I don't know. You should know better. Why is your son not open to me but open to me but not open to you?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe because yun nga kasi mahirap eh. The young people kasi do not want things to be imposed on them. They want to be part. They want to be part of the decision making, brainstorming. They want to be engaged. So the moment you get the trust of young people, it's easy for them. Papasok dyan yung faith na, eventually. So kailangan may importante na they can be open. They can talk to you about their doubts. They can talk to you about their questions. A lot of students would come to me and tell me share to me about their doubts regarding the faith. So I would answer as honest as I could, and happy naman sila pagkatapos. It's importante kasi yeah, sige.
No, go ahead po.
Okay.
Sorry.
Importante kasi yung you get the trust of the young people, and you make sure that they can open up to you.
Father, I have I don't know how to put this, but this might sound a bit philosophical in a way. Pero how do you draw the line rather from yung mini-mention niyo po na parang we want the youth to be involved, and parang they actually want na marinig yung kanilang sentiments, no? Versus being obedient, for example, to their parents. Kasi 'di ba parang may parang thin line na I don't know, I'm not sure if I'm asking it right, but I feel that there's a thin line between that those two things, na involving them at the same time parang not sounding as if you're imposing, 'di ba? Versus that you need to be obedient to your parents.
Yeah, I think kailangan maging malinaw yung definition natin. Kasi when we say involvement, it doesn't mean that decision agad nila agad-agad. Hindi ganon. Right. So, pag obedience naman, ibig sabihin nun, parents and adults lang. No, it should be discussed.
Okay,
Importante kasi yung pag nasabi nila yung idea nila, nasabi nila yung kanilang thoughts, at nasabi magkakaroon ng understanding. Importante kasi yung understanding. Yung bago magkaroon ng parang decision on what to do, pero importante na they are heard. Yan ang sinasabi ni Pope Francis. From the beginning, kahit sabi pa nga, ang ganda nung sinabi ni Pope Francis sa document. Sabi nga niya, very specific si Pope Francis sabi niya, when you listen, you let them talk, you just shut up for a while. Just let them talk. Pag nagsalita, tapos na, okay, ikaw naman. Ang problema sa ating adults, nagsasalita pa yung kabataan, we already interrupt. Wala na. They will not continue anymore. Let them just share their thoughts. And then, okay, anak, tapos na, si mami naman, si daddy naman. Okay, ganito yan. So, nagkakaroon ngayon ng parang, okay, napakinggan ako. Ang ganda na sinabi ni Pope Francis. Ito sinabi niya, listening should not just be parang, sabi niya, it's not, listening should also be, sabi niya, perceived. Meaning to say, ganito, when you listen to a young person, sabi ni Pope Francis, let him feel or let her feel that she is being listened to. Kailangan mag-gets niya na pinapakinggan siya. Hindi yung, nakikinig ako sa'yo, pero hindi niya, ramdam ko, hindi.
Hindi
listening. Or in Pope Francis, listening, sabi ni Pope Francis, ramdam nung nakikinig na pinapakinggan siya. So, part yun, kapag nakikinig ka, makikinig, tahimik ka muna, let the person speak, and then, okay, sige, ako naman.
Exactly.
This is what we do in spiritual direction and counseling, right? B?
Right.
Yeah,
You just let your directee, you just let your counselor speak, and then, ako naman.
Yeah. So in short, Father, talagang it's communication that draws the line, diba? The fluid communication on both sides. Ayun.
Yeah.
Alam nyo, do not underestimate the young people.
Yes.
They are understanding.
Yeah.
Importante lang kasi pinakinggan sila. Kapag pinakinggan na sila, makikinig na sila sa'yo. Do not ever underestimate the young people. These are in fact, totoo lang, mas matalino mga kabataan natin ngayon. They are well informed, no? Kaya we need to guide them kasi, well, when I say matalino, knowledgeable. Kasi ang daming
Access to information is very convenient.
Madali sa kanilang maka-reach
Oo.
ng information agad.
Mahirap maging guro ngayon kasi i-google din mga bata yung sinabi. Mali si sir, mali si ma'am. So nakakahiya.
Right.
So we have to be humble enough to admit that. Kaya importante talaga na kaya yung role ng adults is to really guide our young people in terms of decision making. So importante rin kasi sa mga kabataan, you empower them. The moment they feel empowered, meaning to say, you trust them. Pero importante sa empowerment, anak or iha, when you make decisions, you are ready to face the consequences of that. I mean to say, it should be, hindi ka padalos-dalos sa decision making mo. So, importante na guided at saka nariyan ka. No? Of course, we make mistakes, we make wrong decisions, but most of us, we love to learn from our mistakes. Sana lang hindi mistakes, no? But importante na nariyan tayo para sa kanila to guide them.
Amen. Father, picking up from what you said to listen to the youth, being involved in such activities and really empowering our young people. Ano yung naririnig natin or ano yung mga dapat nating marinig as adults? Kasi parang we talk about listening to the youth, letting them speak. Ano po ba yung what do you hear in them, or what ano yung napapakinggan mo sa kanila, or what are the qualities of the youth today, especially in the age of new generation, technology, pandemic? How do you think are they able to cope up with this? Kasi kayo yung mas involved ngayon sa kabataan, mas nakakausap niyo sila, mas nakakatrabaho niyo sila. Can you identify or share with us some of the qualities that you've observed? Or ano yung mga naririnig mo sa kanila na parang, okay, sige, itong quality nito, I mean, they can answer to probably the world's hunger, something like that. Yung mga issues din natin ngayon. Ayan.
Yeah, actually, we discussed already some of these na gusto ng kabataan. In fact, before the pandemic, there was this, we had a survey. We asked the students, anong gusto nyong sabihin sa simbahan? Tapos, syempre, parang freedom wall yun eh.
Yes, anong sabi, Father?
Ako, parang gusto kong tanggalin sa bulletin board, no? Pero honest yun. Kaya itinanong ko di ba? So, at least the data, so yun nga, na parang, they want to be involved. Second, gusto nila na hindi ini-impose lahat sa kanila. Mean to say, kasi inisip ko pag ini-impose, parang, okay, ito gagawin nyo exactly. Kung baka they want to be involved, pareho yun. They want to be listened, ayan. And then, to really pay attention to them. Yun yung mga issues. And importante kasi yung sinasabi ko na bridging the gap. Kasi we have to admit, ang generation kasi ngayon, ang generation gap ngayon, konti lang. No? Unlike parents natin, siguro isang generation, 20 to 30 years. Ngayon siguro 10, isang generation na yan. Kasi when you say generation, ibang-iba na yung issues, iba-iba na yung culture, iba-iba na yung... Ang bilis kasi ng technology, ang bilis ng pagbabago ng information, technology as well. So, mahirap kasi kapag mas lalo silang mas lalong maramdaman nila na kakaiba sila. Alam mo yun? Para, okay, so nagkakaroon tuloy ng alienation. So we need to heal that. We need to heal that. And adults have to also admit that we have to learn from young people. Ako, I've learned a lot from young people. No? We have to be humble enough that we can learn a lot from them. So we were once young people also, diba? So
ano yun, Father? Anong favorite na natutunan mo mula sa kabataan?
Yun, ang gusto ko sa kanila yung kapag naramdaman nila na naintindihan mo sila, kapag naramdaman nila na gets mo sila, nakuha mo na sila. Yun ang gusto nila mangyari. Gets mo ba ako? Kailangan mo silang mag-gets. Yun ang sabi ni Pope Francis sa listening. Kailangan mo siyang mag-gets, maintindihan mo siya kung saan siya nanggagaling. Laging ganoon, saan siya nanggagaling, maintindihan mo yun. At yun nga, do not underestimate the young people. Actually, all the more they want to do something, they want to do something meaningful. They want to do something with a purpose, no? Kapag nabigyan mo ang kabataan ng pagkakataon na gumawa ng isang bagay na makabuluhan, ay nako, makikita nyo, uusbong yan at lalago yan. Kaya nakakatuwa. Do not ever underestimate the young people. In fact, we have to give more ministries to young people so they become part of the church, they become part of our society. No, kaya nga importante yung sinasabi nating engage citizenship, engage youth ministry. No, hindi yung parang part lang sila ng community. They have to lead. Bigyan mo sila ng roles.
Ayun. Very nice. Empowering
Gets,
them.
Father.
Empowerment.
Gets mo? D?
Gets ko.
Gets na
Hindi
gets.
ka na yung person, Ate V. Ka-generation tayo ata.
Father H. reveal nga, di ba?
Ano yung natin si Teo
Oo,
at
eh. Lagi na lang.
Yung gets nila.
Gets niyo ba?
Oh, mukhang gets
Gets.
nila kasi talagang
Yes.
like they're nodding talagang real every time na Anyway, sige, let's siguro i-ano na natin, i-dedicate na natin yung last few minutes natin ng programa siguro for yung mga kasama natin, if they have their last questions for Father about what we're talking about. Of course, we are still talking about the universal apostolic preference for the youth. Ayan. Sige. Maybe anyone can shoot their last questions for Father.
Sige.
Alessa, you have one?
I can go. Yes, I do have a question. So after we've empowered the youth or found a way to connect them to the church, how can they find their own way to get in touch with their faith and reconnect with God, especially during this pandemic? Because from my experience, going to church every Sunday or even engaging myself with my own parish's choir and all of that. Now being in the pandemic, we can't do those kinds of activities anymore because there's a danger to it. So how can the youth now find ways to still reconnect with their faith despite not being able to do these types of activities or be with other people that can help them empower themselves or reconnect with faith as well?
Yeah, thank you very much, Alessa. You see, that's a sad part because young people, they have to be out there. Kaya nga gumagana itong mga Catholic youth renewal groups kasi they want outings, they want overnight activities, they want these weekend recollections. This is how young people operates. But wala ngayon. Wala yun. Walang overnight, walang weekend gatherings, walang praise and worship, walang music session. So what do? We have to just think again online. How do we do that online? How do we reach out to young people during this time? So kaya importante yung sinasabi ko, our ministries should really think outside the box. And try to see ano yung gusto ng kabataan. So what do we do, for example? At least structurally in our school, we have our ways of reaching out to students. There's an open line, so to speak, for them to reach out to us in case they need some ways to opportunities to converse or to share. And importante rin yun for us to reach out. Kamusta ka na? Minsan nga sa mga sharing namin, sa mga online sharing, sa recollection, meron kaming online recollection sa mga kabataan. Sa sharing namin, hindi na mga mahihirap na question. Simple lang ang question dyan. Kamusta ka na? Umiiyak na yan. Tatuloy mo na. Kamusta ka na? Iiyak na yan. Hindi mo na kailangan lagyan ng malalim na points. Ito lagi yung tanong ko. Kamusta na ang puso mo? Ayan, umiiyak na si Ate B. See? Anong tanong?
Tagos agad.
Favorite ko na yan na tanong.
Diba? During the pandemic,
kamusta ang puso mo?
Yeah, people are tired. During the pandemic, people are longing for affection. We long for embrace. We long for touch. We long for communion. We long for these. So pagod yung mga tao. May sense of longing, and exhausted din sa online setup, no? So kapag may pagkakataon na mag-usap ng 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 ganito, puso sa puso, malaking bagay na 'yon. Kaya kami sa aming group sharing, ang tanong lang, kamusta ang puso mo? Iiyak na yan. Magsasabi na yan. In fact, mas madali nga ngayon in terms of making points kasi the pandemic is really a very parang relevant material for a lot of people affected by this. No, imagine those relatives abroad who could not go home during the pandemic because of the quarantine protocols and all that. A lot of people are lonely these days. So we need to really reach out and be able to speak like this, and be able to really reach out and at least converse heart to heart. Importante 'yun.
Ayun nga, sabi nga, di ba, Father, humans are really thrive in communities, di ba? So being commune with one another, doon natin nararamdaman ng isa't isa. And I definitely agree, no, this pandemic has really parang talagang somehow divided us, but of course, no, we never stop in finding ways on connecting. Kaya ayun, no, thank you for technology, no, and of course thank you for the persons, of course, who actually reach out to us. Ayan. Okay. Yeah, sino pa? Teo, maybe you have another your last question for Father.
Yeah, sure. So yun nga, we're able to connect with the youth na and all that. How can the youth engage and participate in the Lord's work during these times? Kasi back then it was kind of easy. I mean, I had choir. Now not so much because we disbanded them last year. But yun nga, that finding that was actually like already like a journey. So for those who want to find the way that they can engage in this, how so? How can the youth do that?
Actually, Theo, for example, yung the parishes, the different Catholic Christian groups, even they have their programs. No, schools have their programs as well. And as I said, these are all like work in progress, and it's almost like, you know, trial and error. Okay, let's try this. If this will work, let's do this. If it's not, we'll think of something else. But there are already ways, no? And during this time, kasi the pandemic, it works with structures. It works with organizations. That's why ang ano ko lang yung parang invitation ko is really to make also parang our young people be part of, you know, to give us ideas on how to do this. Kasi mahirap eh. For example, kahit sabihin mong online, we'll have like, for example, how can we make a youth gathering online? How do we? There are successful attempts, by the way, but you have to really think something different. And I admit it's not easy, no? Why would pagod na nga sa online, mag-attend pa ng another online activity na. So it has to be something engaging, something interesting, something that will really appeal to the youth, something that will make them excited, that will bring life back to them, so to speak. So yun Teo, no? Actually the reality is not easy. It's not easy. And we don't have, to be honest, we don't have the perfect ingredients here. I don't want to say I'm an expert in this area. No, we don't have the perfect programs. All of us are navigating in new waters here. Lahat tayo until now. Even our programs in school, we have tried things. They work. Okay, tuloy natin. Hindi. Okay, will think something else. So, but what I'm telling you is this: parishes, youth orgs, and different organizations are trying their ways to craft something, something new for the young people, and hopefully, the young people will also reach out, will also avail. But again, this is really not easy. It's not easy.
All right. Father, to wrap it all up, siguro, no, any message that you can share to, of course, to our young people and to those who actually are journeying with them, no, those who guide the youth like you, like yourself.
Okay, so first I'd like to thank the young people for teaching us also adults. No, we need to learn from you, and siguro importante is to really articulate that the adults are here to partner with young people. In fact, I don't even want to use that word kasi again, even that word adults and young people, it's actually kind of the divisive parang binary kind of parang
Right.
term. So rather than we think community, we think family, we think uh, I mean young people and teens and adults and seniors, the elderlies. This is the time during this pandemic to really go back to the household, to the family, go back to community. And a lot of people are doing that. They have their family masses, community masses online, and it's good to see. I have celebrated several clan masses or family or masses or organization masses. So it's really time for us to go back to that and make sure that each member of the community of the family has a role to play, and we have to listen to each other. We have to listen to each other, especially the young people, and let them know that they play a very important role in the society. This society is going to be theirs in the future. In fact, kawawang kawawa mo. Ako just to end, ako, if you ask me, sobrang naawa ako sa kabataan ngayon. Sobrang awang-awa ako. Kasi they're supposed to be there out there. They're supposed to be in classroom, in schools, but no, they are stuck in their homes, and you're only young ones. So kung matagal pa tong pandemya na to, yung kabataan mo nasa bahay ka, so nakakaawa kasi walang opportunity. Kaya we need again to think outside the box. We need to create new programs. We have to create new youth activities. If we cannot just think about it, okay, yung mga activities before we implement them, we cannot anymore. We have to think, how do we use technology? We have seen many times students, kids using technology like Zoom for a concert. Pwede naman pala. So we need to parang learn the best practices from each other and share them to different groups so we can learn from each other.
Amen. Amen to that. Nako, napasarap po ang ating kwentuhan with Father Ro this evening. Nako, sa mga nakikinig po at nakakasama namin ngayon, of course, we'd like to thank you for joining us, and let's just greet a few of them siguro. I think Alessa, maybe you want to check out some of our friends who joined us tonight. Baka may mga nagpapabati or may questions kay Father Ro.
Yes, there are actually a lot of people saying hi in the comment section, or celebrating that you are the guest for tonight.
Wow, celebrating talaga, ha?
Yes, actually one comment from Michelle Ching Dungo says, "Yay, Father Ro!"
Ching!
Hi, Ching!
I think Sir Les Mendiola says, "Greetings from New Valley."
Yes. Oh, nako, Les, na-miss ka namin ngayong araw na to. Nako.
Sure.
Yeah. Ayan. Anyway, of course,
yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
Oh no, sir, it's fine. That's all, I think.
Okay. Ayan. Ako, dami na naman na nating natutunan ngayong gabi. Of course, maraming salamat po sa ating panauhin for tonight, si Father Ro Atilano SJ. Ayan. At of course, before we, of course, end our program, we just want to do some announcements real quick. Of course, we invite everyone to watch the virtual choir presentation of the Jesuit Music Ministry and guest choir singing Gifted to Give, the theme song of the 500 years of Christianity in our country. And of course, this is part of the Gifted to Give album for the 500 years of Christianity in our country, which is now streaming on all digital music platforms. Ayan. And Judith, siguro samahan mo ako dito sa mga announcement na to, Judith. What's up next for JMM?
Yes, next for JMM this Friday, July 30, Bukas Palad will drop the second of its tracks to celebrate the 35 years of their music ministry. Bagong Buhay, the new song also commemorates the 500th anniversary of Saint Ignatius conversion.
Ayan. Ayan, of course, we're also celebrating, no, na syempre, as you know, the 500th anniversary of the conversion of our patron. Ayan. So, they will be launching this is the second of their, of a series of tracks, singles that they will be releasing for their anniversary. So, happy anniversary in advance to our friends from the Bukas Palad Music Ministry. Ayan. Nako si B, B, baka naman gusto mo mag-promote din ng iyong episode tomorrow for Minded.
Papromote ko yung episode ko tomorrow. First time ko magpapromote sa JMM. No, but this is also in celebration of our Ignatian month because last week we talked about the examen. Tomorrow we will talk about spiritual direction and counseling guided by Ignatian spirituality. This will be with Sister Cecil Tublev, the Religious of the Cenacle. So we really can't wait. Of course, Sister Cecil is a friend of the program and the station also. So I hope we catch you guys tomorrow, this time around.
Yes, that's tomorrow at 7 p.m. of course. Ayan, ako, maraming salamat po muli sa inyong pagsama sa amin ngayong gabi. Of course, thank you to our guest, Father Ro Atilano of the Society of Jesus. So, uulitin po, Padre. Ayan. And of course, we would like to thank our co-host, our special co-host for tonight, our interns, si Alessa, Ziasita, and Teo Ricoforte. Ayan. Maraming salamat. And of course, you'll see more of them in the coming shows that we have, of course, there in radyo-katipunan. At sa ngalan po ng ating Director of Jesuit Music Ministry, na si Lester Mendiola, ang ating po mga producers, of course, nandiyan si
Judith Esquivias from JMM Radio.
And of course, we also have Chris De La Cruz and Adam Domingo, the writer of tonight's episode, as well as our JMM interns as well, si Rachel and si Mecca. Yan. Of course, ako po si Justin Pontino ng Radyo Katipunan. And of course...
And this is B of Minded. I am still a letter. See you tomorrow and see you next week for
See you tomorrow for Minded. And of course, makita-kita po ulit tayo sa susunod na Miyerkules for another episode of your JMM Radio. Iwanan po namin kayo ng awitin mula kay Toto Sorioso. Kay Brother Migs pala. Migs Ramirez and Sarah May de la Torre. This is the theme song of the Year for the Youth, no? The CBCP Year of the Youth, composed by Paulo Buizon and arranged by Toto Sorioso. Here is One in Mission. Ayan, maraming salamat po muli and good evening everyone. Bye-bye.
Serving humanity with joy and compassion, creating change amidst our horizon. a brighter future with youthful passion.
So let us sing and dance for the Lord, spreading His word, tune His melody, uniting His nation, one in faith, hope and charity. Let the love of God reign in our hearts, shaping the world with the gifts we impart. Beloved, gifted, empowered through Jesus.
We are one in mission. The Lord is with us. We are one.
Let the Spirit of Christ be our guide, like a spark of light forged in the sky. Together we'll reach our dreams up high. So let us sing and dance for the Lord, spreading His word, tune His melody,
Uniting His nation, one in faith, hope and charity. Let the love of God reign in our hearts, shaping the world with the gifts we impart. Beloved, gifted, empowered through Jesus. We are one in mission. The Lord is with us. We are one. Sing and dance for the Lord, spreading His words through His melody, uniting His nation, one in faith, hope and charity. Let the love of God reign in our hearts, shaping the world with the gifts we impart. Beloved, gifted, empowered through Jesus. We are one in mission. The Lord is with us. We are one. Let the love of God reign in our hearts, shaping the world with the gifts we impart. Beloved, gifted, empowered through Jesus. We are one in mission. The Lord is with us. We are one.
Rejoice, refresh, renew, and reflect. Join us for an hour of music that uplifts the soul. Listen to your favorite Jesuit music ministry artists. This is JMM Radio. JMM Radio. Get your day's dose of inspirational music. Tune in to JMM Radio every Wednesday from 1 to 2 p.m. Only here on radyo-katipunan 87.9 FM. Radyo-Katipunan. News, insights, inspiration. Radyo-Katipunan. Down from the hill and down to the world. Radyo-Katipunan. The voice of the Blue Eagle.